Art Life video blog number 106. This is Jon Steiner.
My name is Jacob Wolf. Thank you, John,
Yeah.
for meeting me here.
Well, it's a pleasure.
We're at the Tan Republic, and where is this?
Tan Republic in Milwaukee. So I have my art hanging here in the tanning salon. So I'm a retired teacher. I taught French for 40 years. I've been retired for 10 years, and I've been interested in art, and I've been interested in travel. So here's the way.
No worries.
So combination of art and photography and travel. So I decided when I was going to photograph things that I didn't want to come back with the usual touristy kinds of photos. So I was visiting Paris once on a lecture tour, and it took me to a working class section of Paris that had alleyways that were covered with graffiti and street art. I lost the tour. I got so interested in taking photos of the art that was on the walls that I gave up on the tour, and that was the beginning of me seeking street art and graffiti everywhere I traveled.
What was your introduction into photography?
I've always just played around with cameras, but nothing high end until I actually started traveling, and then I got better cameras that I could actually have high resolution and be able to print large prints of. So most of it's not my original art. The original part is that I have captured this at a moment, and I know that most of it is gone within days or weeks or years. So if I get a chance to go back to the same place, I like to go back and see how a wall has evolved. And sometimes if it's a really great work, it'll stay. Otherwise, it's usually been replaced. And the really exciting part is running into an artist who's working.
Yeah.
And so it's an adventure. I'm really an adventure traveler, and so part of the adventure is finding the locations that people use for street art and graffiti, and meeting the people that are creative, and I usually can connect with them, and they'll show me other places, or they'll have locations that they've worked before, and so I'm able to go back with them. If I go back, for example, in Africa, I took 9 months and went around the world 3 years ago, and every city that I went to, I asked about and found if there was graffiti. Some places it's more prevalent than others. In the poorer countries, they're not spending money on rattle cans to spray walls. And in some cultures, it's really not acceptable. They can do paste ups because it's not considered vandalism. But if they actually spray on the wall, then it's considered vandalism, and it's more serious for them. But there are some really great centers of graffiti. Outside the U.S., Melbourne, Australia has amazing alleyways, and it's really recognized. At the visitor center, they had a map. They gave me a map of where to go in the city to find the graffiti, which is really unusual. So Melbourne and Sydney, Auckland and Wellington in Australia and New Zealand. Cape Town, South Africa is an amazing city and has tremendous amount of graffiti and street art. Sometimes it's making social statements. Sometimes it's political. In Nairobi, Kenya, because of some of the political disputes, some of it is aimed at making a statement, a political statement. There's not much in Southeast Asia. South America, I haven't had a great experience with South America, but Buenos Aires, I spent some time, and it's typical South American kind of whimsical. You can tell that it's South American, that it's different than some of the other areas. So in the U.S., New York, Five Points, which now has been demolished. I made a special trip to New York to capture artwork on Five Points. San Francisco, my son lives in San Francisco, and he likes to explore with me, so we go out and find the main areas in the Bay Area, a lot of it in Oakland and East Bay. We've jumped walls and crawled through holes and had the kind of exhilarating experience of going into kind of unknown spaces.
Yeah.
You never know what's around the next corner, art-wise or maybe situations. But in these abandoned spaces, and I've done this in Paris, I've done it in Cape Town, I've done it in U.S. Sometimes in a space where people can not be afraid that somebody's going to come along and disturb what they're doing, they can take more time and they can develop a better, a piece that they can really concentrate on, and you find some amazing things. Yeah. So it's really, it's been an exciting part for me in retirement. And I know this is not what people my age are usually doing, and they say, they kind of, why and how do you find this stuff? But my friends and younger people that I know now who are traveling, I have them scanning walls. So anyone who has traveled with me or who's gone through the experience of looking for street art and graffiti, now they post things and they'll say, okay, Jon, I think you'd like this, or you got to see this. And it's really interesting and fun that I've broadened the horizons of some of my friends, some younger people.
That's awesome. Did you start shooting with film, or did you get introduced into digital?
Okay, it's all been digital.
It's all been digital?
Yeah, it's all been digital.
And when did you first start taking photos?
So it's been 10 years about. So I retired in 2004, and I started traveling and really got interested in it then. I mean, living in Portland, you don't see a lot of it, and it's been, they cover it up as rapidly as they can. The mural projects, I've been interested in the mural projects that Portland did when they did Forest for the Trees last year. I made a point of going around and meeting the artists, and I photographed most of them when they were beginning and kind of in the middle and then the end product. But it was interesting. For example, I think it's at 10th in Washington, Faith 47 did a multi-story work of a lady, kind of the back of a lady with their hands folded behind her back. It's close to Powell's Books. I had photographed her work in Cape Town. She's from Cape Town, South Africa, and have actually sold some of my photographs of her artwork there. So I ran over to meet her because I knew she was important. I didn't meet her in Cape Town, but halfway around the world, you run into somebody whose artwork that you recognize, and that's really exciting. And there was another one, he goes by Freddie Sam, and his is in South Africa as well. And I was walking on northeast Alberta, looked down at the side of a building, and I did a double take because I recognized that this artist from Cape Town had been to Portland and had done one, the theme and the kind of style that I recognized as his, and then looked at the signature and it was. So knowing that I'm traveling the world looking at this, the people who do the artwork travel and they leave their mark, and it's really exciting to see that. And I think it's more and more acceptable. People are recognizing that it's really artwork, and it's not just it's not tagging and graffiti as such, but there are really recognized artists who are doing this work. So that's exciting for me. When I go into a museum and look at Impressionists, I know what to expect. Or if I look at a Rembrandt, or if I look at a Da Vinci or something. But when you look down an alleyway or you turn the corner and you are surprised by a new style or combination, subject matter, it's just exciting for me because it's continually new creative art that I see.
let's take a look at some of your photos.
Okay, yeah, I should be happy to show you. So let's start down here at this is 5 Points, New York, and Mayor's 1 did this. Mayor's was in charge of assigning spaces.
I'm getting a glare on it. Let's see if I can get a better. There, that's a little bit better.
But I met the artist who did this. It took him 3 months to do that work, and I knew that they were going to demolish this building, so now it's gone. So I spent 2 days capturing art on this building, and I actually saw a number of people doing pieces, and it was really exciting to be there. But now I know that, you know, money talks, and so it's going to be 30-story condo buildings with views of Manhattan. So I'm really happy to have been able to capture this one. I've spent a lot of time in Paris. Let's go to my favorite one down here. Well, this one is Paris, and it was a wall, a construction wall, so about 200 feet of just this design, and it's beautiful colors, beautiful sort of modern design. It caught my eye, and I loved that one. We'll just walk down the line. This is Spain, Seville, Spain, and the colors are really typically Spanish, the kind of bright orange, yellows, reds. This one is Paris. This is in Belleville district of Paris, and I know that this building is gone now as well. It was an empty lot, and they've constructed a new building in it, so that entire space is gone now at this point.
I want to just point out, get a little bit closer here. I love that you have stuff that's part of the environment.
People were living here. It was really someone's living room.